and we are looking at flood victims. It is post-flood. The waters have receded. They've all left camp. Camp has been closed in most of the local government areas. So what is the flood committee set up by the Rivers State government, headed by the deputy governor, doing to help these people resettle? For the purpose of this conversation, I spoke with the Commissioner for Environment, and he made several revelations and said a few things, and we are going to be going through some of the things he said in this video. So here is the Commissioner for Environment, Mr. Sydney Gbara.
Settled in, back to their normal lifestyle before they were displaced by the flood. And I can tell you on good authority that even as I speak to you, up to today, the flood committee, we are still sending out materials to the various LGAs, even when we know that the flood has receded. And any moment from now, we are going to have some additional items to the release, to the materials we are spending. People will begin to see things like cassava stem. People will begin to see dispensing of drugs, maybe a medical team, because we have the commissioner of health that is a part of the committee. That's when that ministry will play a very key role in what we are going to do. So all these have been captured in our post-flood activity.
Okay.
Which will kickstart any moment from now. I can equally tell you on good authority that we are right now carrying out the sitting of major canals around Rumodomaya, Stars Road, Eliosu, that whole stretch, to really give way and prepare for maybe when next the rain will come. So we are doing a lot. Then you already mentioned about those whose houses were destroyed. Right in the village, most of them, what they have is mud house. And these mud houses cannot stand the water when it comes. Some too, even if it's a block house, as soon as your house is flooded, you have a lot of issues. The items will be destroyed and several other things. So we equally have that in our plans to see how we can help, those people maybe have mattresses.
So there you heard the Honorable Commissioner for Environment, Mr. Sydney Gbara, speaking there. And he said quite a lot is what he said regarding how the government intends to resettle those people who were affected by the floods. Now, some of the things he said, food items are still being distributed. My question is how these food items are getting to the people, because if camps have been closed up in the various local governments that were affected, these people would have gone back home. It technically means that they are fending for themselves to some degree. If these food items are still being collected by some of the local governments, I don't know how many, I think he mentioned it in the interview, you'd listen. The question would be, how are they getting it across to those people who are trying to resettle? And then those people whose houses were destroyed, that's another very important aspect. And that's where I'm even much more interested in. Are we building new houses? He talked about how they're working the plan. Are they building new houses? Are they helping clean up the ones that maybe perhaps did not collapse? What exactly is the move? How are the local governments working with the National Committee at the center to address this problem? It's fundamental. Some more questions I asked him. He responded. I'd like to play another part of the conversation we had. And this was what he said about the number of local governments that have received relief materials and are receiving relief materials and palliatives, and what they are doing about it.
Very, very much aware that River State here are predominantly farmers and fishermen. So in the items we are procuring for this post-flood, we're going to equally have fishing nets and other tools that are used for fishing, to be able to address for the professions that our people are known for. So right now, we are at the point where we have collected those who were affected, because the other time was a general issue. Everybody has been displaced. So now we have to know those who are probably need medical attention, those whose houses were destroyed, items were destroyed, and all that. We are not just going to dive into bringing things. We need to capture these persons and then immediately move into action. So I can assure you maybe by next week we are going to see this other operation, because know that the festive period is just here. So we need to our people need to settle down to be able to join in the Yuletide celebration. For now, what we are delivering even up to now are food items. We are still delivering food items. Even as I speak to you, some of the LGAs are at the warehouse.
How many of the
food items?
How many so far?
18 local government. 18 local government that were predicted received these items. So maybe the other aspect, which is the medical outreach and other things, is what will come later.
So you heard him there. 18 local governments have received and are receiving food items for those people who were displaced by the flood who are trying to resettle. The question again, how are they getting these things across to these people? I'm also going to want to ask this. He mentions people who are farmers getting cassava stems and all, fishermen getting fishing nets, canoes, and all of that to help them start their lives again, because what they had before would have been destroyed by the flood. It is now up to you in the local government areas to let me know. Have you received? Do you know who is receiving? He says plans are on the way. The food items, how are they sharing it? Is it getting to the people who were affected? Is it getting to the people who need it? Your local government, have they collected these food items for flood victims? It is now up to you to let me know.